Hi guys, my name's Ben. You probably know me from behind the camera half the time this week, so I apologize if I'm a little low-spoken, soft-spoken. I don't talk too much when I work from home all day, so this is like yelling to me. We'll see if this works. So today I'm going to teach arm drags, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert at them, but I know enough to be really dangerous, if that makes sense. So I think arm drags are really important and have a lot of use in a lot of positions, especially standing, any guard positions. And if we have enough time at the end of it, we'll work on some defenses. So it's not just that we're going to look at what you can see, where you can see the arm drags and how you can do them, but also how to defend them, kind of a crash course in arm drags. And I'm coming at it from a jiu-jitsu perspective, not much of a wrestling perspective. Yes. That's my first sentence. I'll try to speak up. So I'm coming at it with more of a jiu-jitsu perspective, not a wrestling perspective. So I see it as a way to get to the back and just stir the pot, which is scrambling, basically. So, so we'll start with standing, because that's usually pretty simple. Everybody starts typically stand up with like your. If you don't know stand up, and we don't work it a lot in our gym, but people tend to start like a prom dance. Like they don't know what to do, but it's just like, and it just sort of, you've seen like the white, blue, purple matches that just do that for 3 minutes. Well, you can just stir the pot if you wanted to arm drag, and it's super simple. So I'll go over the details, but I'm saying like all these applicabilities of arm drag. So instead, you can break the grip and start to arm drag. Now immediately exposing his back. So the best thing about arm drags is I can immediately I can be an unskilled opponent and immediately threaten the back of a very skilled opponent in a very short amount of time with just my athleticism, right? That's kind of a quote that I messed up from John Danaher. But when I was Googling all these like videos of arm drags, he makes a good point where like you can be a blue belt and really athletic and fast, and you can easily get to the back of a black belt, or at least threaten the back of a black belt. And he has to respond to it. It's not something that you can just ignore. So say you're standing. Again, my gym doesn't work on a lot of stand-up, so this is what I do when we stand up. I either pull guard or I can do this, because I don't know a lot of stand-up. I work double legs, I've worked single legs great, but I don't feel I am as efficient at them as like a wrestler. If I'm facing against we have a brown belt who's a wrestler that I just will not stand up with sometimes. But so again, we stand here. I can always break the grip and start to expose the back. Now, ideally, I want my chest as I cross the line. So arm drags, I want to take his arm from kind of square position where he is here, and I want to bring his arm across that center line, right? That's literally the simplest part about this position is how simple it is, where I want to bring the arm in line. I want to bring one of his arms here. And immediately, if I follow that line, I can get to his back exposure. And that's as simple as the position is. So as I break and come in, I want to make sure I can get my chest as far high as possible. Now, with standing, you have sort of it's the riskiest part of the arm drag system, I feel like. Like my favorite arm drag is from half guard because it's less risky for me. But for here, as long as I can break and come in, and I can get here faster, I can start to expose the back, or at least start to scramble. And if you're a wrestler, you can use arm drags for double legs. You can boom, come in. I can use them for doubles, I can use them for singles. They're a great entry point, because the hardest part about stand-up is just getting in, right? It's like a boxer. Like a boxer wants to get in and do damage. I want to make sure I can get in to this inside space so I can start to take you down, if I want to take you down. And instead of just all of this stuff, trying to get my timing and space, if I can just go and get in, I'm already in. So the arm drag can accomplish a lot. So let's work on, for a few minutes here for a drill, we're just gonna like work on the most basic arm drag, in my opinion, is just from standing. We'll start with the standard like kind of judo grip, the high school dancing grip is what I call it. And we're gonna start, and somebody's gonna start to break. So I like the gi because I can have my grips. I'm a gi player. I'm more than a no gi player, so I like my grip. So as I break, I keep that same side grip. Now wrestlers like to do more of a deeper arm drag, so they can pull the shoulder. That's probably more effective, but I like to not risk the redrag. So if I go here and or he can stick his arm to this side. So as I drag, yeah, so the elbow has more mobility the higher I go on the shoulder. So if I break and I come here, I want to push this up. So now the elbow bends down, I can pull back, eliminating a lot of that defense that you just did. So this is one of those, I guess, secret details. Not really secret, but I break, keep the same side. I like to punch up just a little bit in order for me to drag. Now, I don't go right on the elbow, I go just above, so even if it slips, at least I have some room for error and failure. So boom, here, drag, I just wanted to go. A million things you can do from there. But let's just work on this simple concept and kind of like thinking as we're going, like why we're doing this, how you can maybe, and again, like you can go down rabbit holes on this, so how you can, if this is something you don't like to do or don't do often, maybe it's something like you're here and you still do it from maybe an open position. But for me, we're a gi player a lot in our school, so we start with this. This is what we're taught. We're taught judo stuff pretty much in the gi, and wrestling stuff in no gi, and sometimes you do wrestling in gi, or at least traditionally I would say. Today is definitely not traditional, but here, break, come in, I just want to get to the back. From here, there's a million things you can do. Or we're open, here, boom. That's all we're trying to do right now. Then we'll go into other positions real quickly on how you can use the arm drag from other positions. So basically, we want to see them in everywhere. Questions? Yes.
Quick question. If you're, what about the people that are in a no-gi? Is there a modification if you're going with someone who's
Yes.
not wearing a gi, what they can do?
Yes. So if there's no grips, that's why I'm like saying you can do sort of a hand control. So in no-gi, I like to more control hands. People like to collar ties. Collar ties are great because I can strip and drag from there. So that's one way you can do it. I'm going down the rabbit holes of how many things you can do arm drags from. I want to keep it simple just for like focusing on the mechanics of it because there's like a million different arm drags. And for me, once I understand the mechanics of something, I can apply it to many different scenarios of the same position. So once you know, I just need to get the arm over here and beat into the shoulder, you can sort of figure out how can I do that? Where am I going to do that? From everywhere. So for here, just hand finding, which I like to control the hands because it prevents him from arm dragging me. So if he tries to arm drag me, at least I have control of his hands. So, but I can also let go and continue mine.
Thank you.
In a no-gi scenario. But yeah, for me, I do a lot of gi, so I try to think both when I'm teaching as best as I can. If you're wrestlers, you like collar ties, again, if you want to practice this, it's great. It's probably something you've already known. Pre-wrestling 101, but if you have collar ties, I can strip this down here, or I can strip it down. So I'll be like here. So bring down. So down. To get the hand off my head. Whatever means necessary. Sometimes people are really this with collar ties. Sometimes they're like loose, looking for opportunities. If they're really tight, you have to really pull it down, break that hand off your neck. If they're loose, just whatever gets that hand off your neck. Just here, get it back. Good? Any more questions?
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to switch positions because it's not about the position, it's about the thing you're doing in each position. So we're still going to do arm drags. We're going to do it from, I think, the best position to do an arm drag, which is either half guard or butterfly. And if you talk about butterfly arm drags, obviously Marcelo Garcia is in the conversation, but let's start with half guard. That's kind of the easiest and I think the best thing to, it's the less risky. Say if we do arm drags from standing, and I don't push this high enough, or it slips down a little bit, or even he's just as athletic as me. Exactly, it could be like, there's a lot of risk from doing it from standing because he has the ability to re-drag me, or do other fancy wrestling stuff that I don't know anything about. So, half guard, very low risk. Because if I can get this arm dragged to this side, it's hard for him to re-drag me. It's not gonna happen, yeah. Hard for him to re-drag me. And if I fail to get to his back, I have half guard. I love high risk or high reward, low risk. I was gonna say high risk, low reward. No, high reward, low risk. So this is a great, quick. Again, like I'm over 30. I'm a higher ranked person in jiu-jitsu. I love half guard. I have thick thighs. I think like it's like I'm not the only one in the room. I think so a lot of people I think love half guard. So this is one of those like I can immediately stir the pot with half guard. Because sometimes you get a really good player that has good base. It's hard. You're playing this game a lot. You're just really like having a hard time in half guard. Maybe the guy just has somebody in his gym that does a million people that does half guard, and all of a sudden you roll them. He's like, I know what to do. And you're like, shoot, okay. But then you can change the tide really quickly with the arm drag. So same thing with arm drag. If you're not doing gi, I like to grab wrist, or if I'm sitting up, same thing. But with gi, it's great again because I have this handle. The handle is awesome. It's like a free tool. Like use it, right? It's awesome. So like with the handle, I could just keep it. Even if he's like, I don't want you to arm drag me, I can lock it on my hip now. So like, just see the strength I can do with the grip is great. But even without a gi, you can grab. It's fine. But I'm usually looking for a time when he's not also grabbing me with this hand. So I have to grab, even if he's grabbing this cross side or same side, whatever it is, I can't go this side if he's grabbing. Dragging to this side won't work mechanically as well. Because now it's like awkward, like if I break this and I drag to this side, I'm not really getting, I'm like giving him a lot of leg attacks and kind of awkwardly now in this weird position where he's gonna probably sit on my face or something, like hips go down. So this is the side I want to go to, is the side that my knee is outside. Side that my back is facing towards because I have to face him. So my side of my back is the side I want to drag to. So if he's grabbing some sort, if we're battling here, I'm gonna wait for him to not be controlling something with this, and then I can switch and come up with that. Because the best way to defend an arm drag is having some sort of a contact with the other arm, so that if I'm coming up, he can easily stop me with the other arm. So if he's hand on my shoulder, whatever, now that's hard. So as soon as this is out, great. Now I can easily break this, or even if it's not, I can force it. I can, if I need to. And watch, I didn't have the elbow because my position helped me. The elbow's not like 100% necessary, but it's mostly necessary in this position because I can use a lot of my like coming up position and power to get.
Surprisingly, that was actually really strong. Like I was holding on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. And all I have to do is so I can lock and push as I go. And so I become a structure that my back and everything sort of, I'm not just like pulling and pushing, using very limited amount of muscles. I'm trying to like use a lot of muscle. And I put myself back so I can lock this as much as I can, lock this out as much as I can. And that's just one way to do it, right? Like if I break, I can still do the same thing. And again, what's great is I already have a hook for the back. So if I want to come up, or if I'm going to bring it to the back, I already had this hook in. It's kind of a win-win, right? From a position like half guard that you already are like lazy and like love and kind of the seductive, what does Chris Howder say? Like guard is the seductive.
Right.
Like don't fall for the seductive nature of guard. Like half guard is even more seductive in my opinion. Like it's so easy to just be lazy and also effective. And the more you know, the more lazy and effective you get at it.
Yeah, we do.
It's weird. There's a fine line between efficiency and laziness as you get better at jiu-jitsu, and you're not sure which one you're doing sometimes. It's a very gray area. I'd say it's both, but so again, so let's go back to the subject because I talk a lot. Back to half guard. Make my space. Make sure he's not grabbing me with this. If he's not grabbing me with this, even better. I'm just coming up. If he is grabbing me, which he should be, it's smart because if he knows you're gonna be doing an arm drag on me, break, drag him. So let's work on this a couple minutes and we'll come back. Sound good?
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we did 2 positions for arm drags, and now should we do a third? Or should I do the second? Third? Okay. Let's do the third. As I alluded to butterflies, let's do butterfly, and then we'll start doing defenses to arm drags because there's the reason why I'm good at arm drags is because growing up through the ranks, I had a person in our gym who's now black belt who's really good at arm drags from half guard. And he just opened that conversation up from blue belt because everybody just knew Andrew could arm drag anybody. And he was athletic and young and strong, and he was on your back, and it was like really annoying even if you were like a couple levels ahead of him. So that sort of got me on the path of like, oh, like these are really effective for any body type as long as you know what you're doing or you can time it and kind of think about mechanics. It really applies to a lot of things. So let's think about it from the butterfly perspective. So, again, thank you. Again, you can't talk about butterfly arm drags without having Marcelo Garcia in the conversation. In fact, we watched like an hour of his snatches last night as a refresher.
It's fun.
It was fun. In 2003, Marcelo Garcia came into the game and arm dragged everybody from butterfly to the back. He was a very small opponent. He went to the absolute division and basically beat him. And it was kind of crazy, and no one saw it coming. And you can look up all these big name guys that he faced, and it was like basically every single. And I was like, there must be one match where he doesn't do it, and literally every match he does it. So it's like, okay,
On drag.
that works. And it's like you master the video game and you just keep spamming the B button because you know it works. You know what I mean? Everybody played like Nightmare and Soul Calibur. You did the stab move. It's the B button. Yes. But you knew it worked. So this is one of those moves you know it works. Yes, you should know more jiu-jitsu than this, but this works. Butterfly. I like butterfly myself because I have big thighs. They save a lot of lives. And you're welcome. So I have really flexible hips, so I can get the hooks in really easily. So I like butterfly myself. I played it a lot in my younger years, and I started to bring it back recently. And it plays really well with the arm drag. The only thing is, if I'm going to do an arm drag to get to his back, I have to clear the leg in order to get to his back. That's the caveat. You still have to get, if you want to get to his back. If you want to just create a scramble, or use the arm drag to sweep him, you can do that too. So I can either do the same thing, clear the leg, come up, and get to that position. Again, I'm trying to get my chest as high as I can. Yes, there's ideal things you can do, but it's a battle, and it's a really quick battle, so however high you can get, the better you can be. Like if I'm here, great. If I'm here, good. Probably not great, but good. And then I can work my way up here. So again, this is always going to be a battle. So we have to like questions like, what if you can't grab perfectly, or what if you can't go as high? It's like, well, it's a really quick scramble, and you're stirring the pot real quickly in that roll. So try to get as high as you can. If you're going to the back, if that's your goal. You can also use the arm drag to help the butterfly, to do the butterfly, right? So the arm drag, keep the hooks in, grab belt, pull them in, and just go that way. So say if somebody's really good at defending your butterfly, because we have guys in our gym, I used to play it literally all the time, so then we had guys who were really good at defending it, and then it got really annoying. Because that's how, evolution works. You get good at something and then somebody beats you at it because you did it forever, and all of a sudden you're like,
They found the counter.
you found the counter and you have to fight
counter, you
them,
can
and
counter that. And
that's a sign of a good gym where
Yeah.
people just kind of find the counters to each other over and over again until you are both black belts and you still do the same thing.
Yeah.
So basically, say you're like trying to do all these like he's really good at defending the butterfly for whatever reason, right? Whatever your favorite butterfly is, underhook, overhook. I like the overhook myself. Anyway, so the butterfly's not working. So I can come back on drag, keep the hooks in, keep them close, because I'm basically rolling him over my hip. It's a weird thing. So I'm bringing him up and I'm rolling him over my hip. I'm going very slow. So from here, I don't care if I go 3/4 mount. I actually like 3/4 mount because it's like, you ever seen the scene in The Watchmen when like Rorschach's in the prison and he's like, you're stuck here with me? This is me with this position where it's like, oh, you're stuck in this prison, and he looks at everybody else, he's like, no, you're stuck here with me, and beats the shit out of like 10 people. Like, sure, yeah, I don't care if 3/4 mount. I have so much to fuck with here. It's great. So if he catches the leg as I come up, cool, okay. Like, I'm actually really okay with this position for me, because I have strong, thick thighs, so maybe that's a stylistic thing for me. But I love camping here, being strong, heavy, and just like menacing to him. From a position where he's like, oh, I got the leg, cool. Like, okay, I still got my sweet points, and I'm still in a pretty dominant position here. Not dominant, but like pretty dominant.
Those MMA would just be like,
Yeah. I mean, there's like my favorite where I could swim, get like Kimura's here. I could start like threatening everything. Basically, I'm just sitting on his hips, and I could just keep working stuff until he just like gets tired of defending like for 3 minutes, which is great. I want to be in his head next time we roll. Like, I'm not gonna give up this position. Like, I love being in a position forever and just like, yeah, next time we roll, you remember this. Anyway, okay, so to review what we're gonna work on: butterfly, arm drag to the back, or arm drag to the sweep. Right? So start with your butterfly. And one detail that I really always love to cover when I'm teaching this is anytime you're in butterfly and somebody touches your legs, that's like arm drag city. That's like anytime. Like, because we're here, because I want to get underhook. And that's, but as soon as he touches my leg, under. Like, even if we're back here, right? And I come in, he touched my legs. So, like, I'm just looking for you. Because if he needs to touch my legs, he needs to come forward. For me, if I was him, I would keep my hips down and back and go to the feet first. Exactly. Now, I don't have a butterfly anymore. He's dealing with a different guard. No guard here. But from here, as soon as he touches, I'm dragging everything. Right? It's one of those things, like, for me, it's automatic, and I realize it's not automatic for everybody else, so I feel like this is something to emphasize. Sort of connected to this drill, if you remember. Because I love to just, like, touch feet here, just start to roll. Like, you know when, like, the guy in your gym just starts to roll like this? You're like, cool, I might have legs crossed, I don't care.
I was really trying to pass this for a second.
Yeah, no, then that's the thing. If he gives you the momentum, his hand is on your leg, it's the same dynamic as the butterfly.
Okay.
So play with that if you want. And also the butterfly, you can do the butterfly sweep from this. So I come in, grab. I grab the belt. I don't grab fabric because sometimes there isn't a lot of slack, and sometimes with the belt, there's usually something to grab. And I'm just looking to pull them in. So when I pull them in, it's on top of me, I'm going the way that, I'm not going that way. I'm going the trap way. Does that make sense? Questions?
Do you have a no grip, no hold for the butterfly?
Like,
Like instead of the belt in the back, do you hold the lap? Do you
I just,
hold the, just pull in?
so if I don't grip at all, here, just whatever I can do to. It is one of those moves that like kind of get style points for in like frequent flyer miles. You know those like Della Diva over the head sweeps? You should get like frequent flyer miles for those. Yeah. Because you're like, woo. All right. No more questions? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Everybody seemed to be getting it really well, which is awesome. A couple of things I saw. One was it was hard to do the butterfly, like the side butterfly from Nogi because you're not grabbing something. I agree. I don't really do that position too much from butterfly, although you probably can. From Nogi. So they were saying like, what if it's Nogi, right? Drag and like there's nothing to grab. I guess it's harder to like sweep in that way. I agree. I'll take their back more often. And one thing too is there's so much things you can do. Like I saw other people branching off, and that's exactly what this position should make you think is like, what other things can I do from here? So say if I have the gi, I can start to gift wrap, really make his life a little more miserable. Like there's so many things you can do from just getting past that center line of the arm and coming up. There's so many things. So like I'm just doing something I do and something basic, but if you have some awesome fun stuff, some flexible things that short, stocky people like me don't do or don't want to do, then for sure, like it's totally an open game, which is what jiu-jitsu is. Anyway, so let's start doing some defenses because I wanted to cover some of those before we leave from his position. So let's switch.
Can I ask you
Yes.
A quick question before you go to defenses.
Of course.
I'm thinking that to do the sweep, it's a lot more about speed, like to get it. But if you're fat and old, to get that speed is not as easy, especially if I
I'm
have to
becoming
kind
more
of,
fat and more old as I go, so I'm understanding you better.
if I'm trying to get closer to them and try to also arm drag and get the belt, do you have any advice to how to kind of move forward, like move your hips forward so you can do a better sweep? Is there any advice on that?
I just think you're getting stuck just the ability to move forward. That's a good point. So here, from the butterfly or from half guard?
From the butterfly.
From butterfly. Butterfly is definitely a fast man's game, so I can certainly understand where, like, if you're larger or have less hip mobility, maybe because you're older or lazier or whatever the case may be, I can understand that. So I sometimes like to time things. Like if I don't want, those classes where you're like, I still want to do really well, but I don't want to spend energy. That real fine line I said earlier, of efficiency and laziness. So then I will work on my timing that whole day. And if I get smashed a million times, great, whatever. Then I'll do it the next day. And if I get better at a timing on something else, then great. Like the best thing about jiu-jitsu is it's like a video game and you have unlimited lives. So if you die, just like hit the reset button. So say, like, again, maybe it's the timing of the hands, right? Maybe I'm waiting for him to pass and then I can do it. So like you can use timing to your advantage as he's doing other things. So you don't have to, again, this is from like when I was doing it before, this is from like stopped seated position, like we're doing sort of a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. But maybe you drill with your friends passing so that if somebody's like grabbing your pants from gi or whatever, and they stand up to start to pass, that's when you can do it.
Okay.
So you can work on your own timing from that.
Thank you.
And then see, for me, when that happens, I don't have to move as much, right? So as you're passing, it's kind of already, like, I just kind of scooted forward a little bit,
Yeah.
and now I can come on. So I don't have to like travel as much because I'm sort of bringing it to me. More so there.
No, that's great.
That makes sense.
Appreciate it.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Any other questions before we go to defenses? Because I'm happy to answer any stuck things. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Let's switch. What do you want? Same thing. Same thing. So, actually, no, half guard. So, there's a few stages. I call stages to butterfly arm drag defense, at least from half guard, which again is in my opinion, the most effective and least risky form of the arm drag, because you basically already have the back halfway there when you get up. So, so this is the most risky one because he can gain the most, and I lose a lot, and he loses nothing if this doesn't work. So how do I then get into the inside position as he's arm dragging? So the easiest one is I'm not going to re-drag, because if I re-drag, I'm not going anywhere. I'm giving him to my back. There's limited space of the floor that I can't really go around, right? That's limiting my mobility this way. So I'm not going to re-drag, but I can, if I feel it, right? Because you roll with enough people, I'll try to weave this arm on this side as best as I can. My elbow, whatever I can. Even if it's here and it's my elbow, it's whatever I can put weight and something to stop him from coming up. So if I can stop him from coming up, at least I can then swim that in, and I'm safe. And then I can start to pass that even. So sometimes I'll even use that to then start to pass and put pressure on him.
Just breathing out.
Yeah. Sorry for timing that.
Very good.
But yeah, so that's like stage one. There's stages. Like if it gets too far, you have to go to the next one because then the first one doesn't work. So early stage is as much to stop his hip as I can. And then I can swim this in. Ultimately, my goal is to swim this in so he can't drag this across the body anymore. Once it's here, it can't be dragged. Second stage is jumping over. So if I'm here halfway through, I can jump to this side. And it negates the arm drag.
And you're in honeypool.
You don't do a lot of Noki in there. I know what the honeypool is. So it stages. As the first stage doesn't work and you're farther down the hole of the arm drag, I'll jump to the other side as fast as I can. Because if this doesn't work and I'm still over here, I'm jumping over here. And now I gotta figure it out. There's a lot of things I can do. T-bar, if I don't like it, you just back out. Pretty simple. But again, like this is my, and this all came from, and everybody has a person in their gym that spams one button, no matter what it is. Arm drag. This happens to be Andrew's button, his arm drag, which got me down that rabbit hole over the years. So, and one thing too, if I can grab that same side lapel, so here's the other thing, if I grab the opposite lapel, it will only go as far as the lapel goes. So if you drag me, I'm still gonna get dragged. This lapel goes this way, and as far as it goes. When I roll with Andrew, we just get stuck here, because he can't drag me past this lapel. He has to break the grip first. Now I know he's gonna arm drag me, so I can hide it. But if he's just gonna grab here, he's not gonna, until he breaks the grip, he's not gonna drag me past this point. And we will literally stand here for 6 minutes. Because I know if I let this go, he will arm drag the ever-loving bejesus out of me.
Is that why you're so strong gripping that? I'm like, what the hell? Okay, here you go.
Because I'm like, as soon as I roll with Andrew, we go here, he wants half guard like he does, and we get here, and I'm like, here. It's like, you're not gonna arm drag me, because he wants to arm drag me. So anyway, so this is the stages of defense. Preemptive is collar. If you don't have preemptive and he starts to drag you, I'm trying to put weight or weave and get my arm here as fast as I can. If you're gonna drill this a little quick, like go a little quicker as you go, just so you can get the realistic point of view of like, because in the beginning, you're gonna go slow and get that over. But then you're gonna start to go fast, and you have to really get that timing down. So increase your speed as you go with these. The next thing, I'm halfway through. He's not to my back yet, but he's getting there, and I feel it. I'm jumping literally as far back as I can. Thank goodness I have this as an anchor point, because I'm going to rotate around his hips as I do it. Right? So come in here. Because he has half guard, so as I come back, I'm going around his hips, because naturally this is going to hook me. And I fall back, and like knee bars, and like all this other stuff, or just keep punching him. Yeah. Sound good? Any questions? No? Okay, let's go. Trying to get as much as I can. 1, 2, 3. Good. Any questions that I couldn't answer while I was walking around? Make sure everybody's good and comfortable. A couple of housekeeping things. Not that I'm finishing it yet, Rob. But no, not yet. So a couple of housekeeping things. He was saying the grip break that I do. So the grip thing that I do, right when I said in this card, I'll punch. So I like to add detail after when people are like, oh, what is this? And how did you do that? I'm like, great, I forgot to add detail. My bad. Sorry. So everything that you do breaking-wise, if I can use less push-pull muscle and more of my body, and the better structure that I have to break something, the better, obviously. So like, structures are great when my elbows are locked somewhere, then I'm not really pushing and pulling, right? So he was saying like, this is better. I don't know I'm doing it sometimes, so I have to explain that I'm doing it, but I lock my arms to my elbow. So as I push, I'm not really, there's no tricep activation when I push. It's really just like my whole body using itself to like break that grip. If I don't, if I'm down here and I have to like push, it's like a lot harder. Once I lock everything in, this is so much easier. Just stuff like that, right? As a same mechanics, I guess, over here, and I drag, and I bring them in, everything's just tight, right? Like, these are just details I'm going over because a couple people asking questions. As I go tight, that brings him in. It makes it harder for him to defend things midair. Usually, a lot of defenses happen in the middle of something, because usually defenses are either preemptive or like as it's happening. So, here, when it's tight, it's hard for him to redrag, it's hard for him to scramble, it's hard for him to sprawl out if I'm pulling this in. Because if I'm not, he's like, oh, I'm just going to try to stand up and sprawl. Yeah, now this is hard. I mean, I'm going to drag him if he does that. If he sprawls there, I'm still going to drag him. But at least his hips aren't going, right? You're always threatening something with an arm drag until they can get safe. Like, this is one of those moves, like in a roll, just spam it for a couple rolls on open mat, maybe a techno bunker, maybe tomorrow on open mat, like spam the B button, you know? Or like just keep until someone goes, just until someone grabs this for dear life because they know you're gonna do it. Then you're like, oh sweet, now they're afraid of my arm drag. Nice. Nice. Anyway, so any other questions? No? Cool. Thank you for coming. This was my first class teaching at Globetrotters, so. Yeah, I'll say after if anybody has questions. I'd love to work with anybody if they want to ask more questions about this or any other things. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.